Sean, the average angler here, and we are doing a tournament recap. I want to shout out to RB Bass. If you aren't familiar with RB Bass, you can check them out at rbbass.com. RB Bass is a group of outdoorsmen, fishermen, hunters. We have a website, do reports, reviews, all kinds of stuff there. Pretty good stuff to check out. It's free to you. You can sign up for the newsletter if you like. We thank you if you do. If you don't want it, no big deal. You don't get bombarded with emails or nothing. Anyway, tournament recap. The weather was changing a bit. Saturday was overall pretty nice and really the nicest day of the week. The wind calmed down a bit. We had a breeze at times. Other times it was slicked off. And probably depended where you were on the lake. The storm that was supposed to be there didn't hit while we were there. It was overcast in the morning and then went sunny. Off came the rain gear, and I had a t-shirt on under my light jacket and I was sweating. I don't think it was hot, but after the previous days and stuff, it was a big change. Anyway, it was nice to be on the water like that. Not sure that it was the best thing for the fish, but then again, tournament day, we had the best day of the week. I caught easily over 30 fish. As a team, Kevin and I had 45, 50 fish, somewhere around there. And we culled for, well, right up until I think the last one was at about 205, which is funny because that was exactly what the fish weighed. We weighed in 1067. It basically got us middle of the pack, a little under middle of the pack. Weights were tight, 14, 14, 1. There was maybe 6 or 7 weights in the 13s, 3 or 4 in the 12s, and so forth and so on. The fish are good, healthy fish, stocky, fat. We just didn't get a big bite. I mean, really, that's kind of what separates you in these deals at Oroville and Shasta, is the big bite. Again, that Zoom worm, that Zoom finesse in brown with purple flake, or green pumpkin with purple flake, and this pack was new when I went to Shasta. So that's the beauty of this, all right? All the fish I caught at Shasta over 3 days, all the fish I caught at Oroville on this over 3 days, the break-offs, the number of, shaky heads that I broke off, lost the worm, and I still have 3 left, plus 1 on a rod. So I have 4 left out of a pack of 20. 6 days fishing, catching a ton of fish, having a blast, good times. All right, so if you watch the report, you'll know that I ran up the South Fork all the way to the back. Well, not quite to the back, but within a mile and a half of the very, very back. On Friday, I'd found the fish were in cuts. We got a good boat draw. We were number 6. We were the first ones back there. So I had my pick of what I wanted to start on, and we did. And we got some bites, didn't hook anything up. Went to the second cut, which was right across the way. Hit that one. I caught 2 fish outside the cut. If you come out of the cut and then the wall right outside. They were small fish. I hadn't caught fish that size. I think there was a 103 and a 105. Anyway, we had 2 fish in the boat. And we were leaving, moving on to the next one, and my partner says, hey, let's fish that point real quick while we're here. Well, I'm glad he did, because we fished that point for the next 4.5, 5 hours. Didn't move. I think the first fish I caught right on the bank was right around a 2-pounder. 205, 207, something like that. It's a theme here, folks. There was a lot of them in that range. Well, we worked up to that. The second fish I got, again, right on the bank, was a 210. Nice fish. Anyway, we found a little area to kind of spot lock fan cast around, and we didn't move for 4.5, 5 hours. And just for a while, it would be every cast, and mostly all of mine were on this. My partner was throwing a Fatty Z, sprayed grass color is what got bit for him. And he was throwing the 3.8 Kitech on an underspin. We threw lots of other things. Those were our producers. It's kind of interesting because as aggressive as the fish were on these baits, you would think they would eat some other things. And I'm sure they were, because not everybody out there was fishing what we were fishing. But anyway, that's what worked for us. Fish were 2 foot to 30 foot. Our best depth for the day was probably between 22 to 26 foot. So when we left there, we decided to go down some steep walls. There was, once past the point, there was some nice steep walls dropped off into, you just swim it down, I was just shaking and slow reeling, right? Slow reel, just kind of walking it down the bank. You want to feel it hit the rocks, shake it down to the next one. We caught a few that way, missed a few good ones, I think. And you set the hook and you feel how heavy they are, you know it's a good one, and then pop, it's gone. Didn't get a good hook in them. We were kind of burning up bank, so I was working towards it. Not always the best for getting a good hook in them. The other thing is, you don't necessarily always feel these fish bite when you're swimming it down that way. They'll just pick it up, and all of a sudden you don't have the weight. You got to reel down and set as fast as you can. Anyway, so we worked down, we caught a couple fish. I think we may have called one, and we decided to work back to that point because bass forecast said somewhere like from 1 to 2 was going to be the minor feeding period. And the major was before the tournament started. So I thought, well, there's a lot of fish there. There was a ton of bait there. And I thought, well, let's put ourselves in a spot where we know has the ingredients. Anyway, we got back there. I got a couple of bites. They were tentative, not really committing, and we decided to move on. And then we started fishing red clay banks. Red clay's always been good. It was good. I just started casting parallel. I'd put the boat in that 25-foot range, just make cast parallel. Anyway, we caught, I don't know, 15, 20 fish doing that, kind of working our way back towards the bridge through the 5 mile zone, all the red clay banks, and we wanted stuff that was slower tapering. So what had happened was it looked like the fish came out of the little cuts and guts and got on the walls outside. I don't know if that was a weekend thing, a weather thing. They moved from the pressure, that's my guess. They just moved out because they were getting hammered in there. Anyway, it was a blast. Oroville's always fun. It's not fishing quite the way I expected. I expected, to go out there and really whack on them, and we did on Saturday and Friday. So it's really about finding the fish. You move around, fish slow, but fish fast, if you get what I mean. When you're around them, they bite pretty quick. We were on the trolling motor for a lot of it. Once we left the point, we were scooting down the bank looking, in search mode. And it probably would have been nice to have learned these things 1 day earlier, but it is what it is. And I have a feeling the swim bait is probably the way to get some of those bigger bites, but you really got to commit to it. Anyway, it was a great tournament. Congrats to the winners, Alex and Nick Klein, who they got second. They fished one bass the week before, all week. went to the award ceremony, drove home, showed up to the tournament in the morning. Probably didn't get home. I think he said, Nick, or I talked to Alex, I think he said somewhere around 7. They don't live too far. But anyway, troopers, heck of a showing. Showed up, get second place. The new gen Oroville tournament. I've drawn out with the Kleins. Steve Klein, I've drawn twice on Oroville and Pro-Ams. He's the dad. Alex is his son, and Nick is his youngest son. And I've drawn Nick, who's fished with me. He fished as a co-angler one of the years when I was fishing pro, and we had an outstanding day. We weighed 29 pounds that day. We were in second place after day one. So great family, great people. Congrats to them. My hat's off to them. Again, this Shakey head, I'm going to encourage you, if you like throwing into cover and stuff, to check this out. This is the Bass Union's Joseph Orozco. He's got a YouTube channel. You can go check out Bass Union. You can get these at Tackle Warehouse. Check him out. He's got some great products there, folks. His jigs are really quality jigs. His swim bait hooks, his A-rig hooks, underspins, and now I've tried the Shakey head. Awesome. He's got a Ned one too. I didn't try that, so I'm not going to speak to it, but if it's anything like the Shakey head, I'd recommend it. And Joseph, thanks for watching the video too. I appreciate that. I got to talk to Joe for a little while yesterday morning before blast off, and he had mentioned he watched the video on the gloves, and he gave me some pointers and stuff. Gloves were not an issue this week. My hands were warm. The gloves I bought were awesome. I'll go over that in a follow-up video on those just to give my opinion on them and fill you guys in. Anyway, it was a great tournament, fun times. We would have liked to have done a little bit better. We finished 37th with 1067. So we had better than a 2-pound average, which is, you know, I was hoping for 13. Kind of figured 13 would be there, and it would have been. I mean, 13 was kind of the number, and then the change just depended on where you were at. Anyway, the water temperature was about 51. It would warm up to 53 where I was at in the South Fork. Main body was about a degree cooler than the South Fork was. And again, yeah, it's spring's coming, folks. These fish were fat, as you will see in the thumbnail. Those were 2-pound fish. I know nothing big for a lot of people, but they are fun. They're willing to bite in storms, no storms, whatever. So it's good times, good thing to do. January, February, go spotted bass fishing here in Northern California. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.